So, 7 stupid pieces. This is, well, my 4th troll level. My first troll level that used the naming convention of stupid, and the first one to be popular and well known, because it's the first one that Carl Sagan played, and the one that everyone has played, and that spring is a troll. That beginning area is basically just some bait to make the spring spawn, and also there's a fake pipe that doesn't go anywhere. So this room, you see a I went back in the pipe. But you see a cannon, you see a box, and some donuts, and you don't want to go over there, but you'll move forward a bit, and then that muncher will fly out and hit you, and you'll die. And then, okay, so you went in a pipe, you went back in a pipe, and now you're here. And what this is this is a red coin hub room. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 paths, and a safety coin with a key door. And a fish. Because fish are fun. So, it's 7 stupid pieces. We got 7 rooms, and then, yeah. And this is fake. All of this is not a red coin level. Only one of these paths is actually leading to later parts of the level, and that's this one with the Shellmet and the POW. The Wiggler and Mole rooms, I'll show those a bit later. Or right now. So, Mole room. There's moles, and they do nothing. Like, this is it. It's actually just a bunch of moles and nothing else. The Wiggler room, you go up, and there's a booty blast thing that shoots red Wigglers out of the butt cannon. And then this door just leads to the other thing that looks like a door path. This room is all of the room paths here that aren't the right ways are basically just like little jokes. Like the other 2 pipes here, you can't go in except one says spring and one says fire flower, and the one that says spring drops a spring to block you from going fire flower. And then there's this. This is basically the idea that started this particular level, not the spring. So if you look there, it appears to be a safety coin and a key door, but it also is built to look like the flagpole would be hidden behind that fireball. And the block at the bottom of the screen, let's see if I can, this one down here, is actually just the right spot where if the flagpole was placed so that the base is where that block is, it would be hidden by that track and that fireball in a way where if you were to go like this, looks like that would be how you win and you don't have to actually do anything. And you would just win like that. And that's kind of the main troll of this section, and was originally intended as the main troll of the level as a whole. And basically that also ties in with the title and the showing the level. In the level preview you can see this room. And then the title of the level, which is 7 Stupid Pieces, is a reference to an older troll level, 7 Trolley Pieces, where there was a track with a fireball and it actually did hide the flagpole and you could just run into it and win. And you may also notice that this safety coin is collectible, which will become important much later. Right, so the only section that you can actually do anything in is this one. It says hold right, and you do. And then there's this, a Shellmet POW. You'll put on the Shellmet, then you'll hit the POW. Because Shellmets can't go through saws, you hit that. It's kind of meant as a you're dumb troll, because you just damage boost like that. Kind of meant as a you're dumb troll, but no one was smart enough to actually see through it, so it's more like just a troll. And then there's this. Star up here. Those things look like they drop stuff when you hit the POW. So the reason those are there is to hit this, kick that way, and then since the POW is overlaid with the note block, it sends the shell into this star trap. That's the only reason the star trap actually exists, is for the shell to get stuck in, not for you to get stuck in. Because the actual solution is to kick it to the right and do that. Oh, and those fireballs won't actually hit you. As it spawns from the note block, it has a bit of time of not doing anything. I should slow down my playing to talk about stuff. Okay, so you get there, and you'll come through that pipe. You'll have the red coin, because at that point you might still think it's a red coin level, and then you have one red coin, and you come out this pipe, and fall onto here, get a dog costume, and then this has a semi-solid to stop you from falling all the way down. Which, let me say something about this. So the semi-solid here is it's a really funny little troll there, but it was originally not meant to be a little troll. The main troll is, again, getting this, but this troll is, well, it's still, I think, clever and well set up. It wasn't that funny because it doesn't have much of an impact, because even if you get tricked by it, you're kind of like, oh, I need to check this to see if it's the right answer. Oh, it's not. Moving on. But, like, the player isn't convinced that they're doing it right. They just basically are testing something to see if it is the proper strat. And that's it. So you come here, but then the reveal of you don't actually fall down back into the hub room, and you just get stuck here with a dog costume, and you're at the top. That does have more of an impact. It is funnier. So, right. So the right door here is a platform. You can't go up, so you have to go in this pipe. And then there's this. It says Z, and then that happens, and you die. And okay. So about this small section here, the troll, it might not immediately look like a troll, that's because it's not that good, but the troll is you see this muncher on what look like P-switch blocks, and you see this P-switch. So you obviously won't think you actually Z, because you can't Z in Mario 1. But what you're supposed to notice is you're supposed to see that P-switch and think you have to jump to avoid the muncher, and then the chain chomp here will go directly into your jump trajectory. And what you're actually supposed to do is dodge it like that. That is the intended way to dodge it. There's actually, I've seen about like 2 or 3 other strats for avoiding that chain chomp, and all of the other ones are more difficult than the intended strat. And I actually think that's a big problem with this section, that you can do a much more difficult way of avoiding it, and then you just, since that worked, they just keep trying it, and it ends up being bad. So then you come up, okay, I need to spawn here. You come, that guy goes once, and then he comes out. You bounce off that, that's not a troll, and you get here. If you stop here, spring bounces muncher into you, and it's actually a more interesting setup than it might look like. Because it's just this. Oh, I thought that was sitting on top of there. Huh. But basically, that spring, when the block turns back, it would usually kill things, except items like springs and clouds and P-switches will just get shifted over to the side of it, so the spring will move over into the cannon, because inside of the cannon and not all the way at the base because inside the cannon it will move up, and then it'll bounce the muncher to the side. And then there's this. You come here, and you see a dry bones at the bottom. And there's like an arrow and a saw, and you're like, alright, I gotta ride across on the dry bones. But it actually just explodes because of the orange platform blowing up the bomb. And so, what you need to do, you actually just jump across there. That guy will explode. And then we get to this. This troll here is like, this is both the best and worst troll in this level. So you jump here, and then die because you didn't jump good. So the idea is you jump here, and you try to ride this guy across, but dry bones don't move when you're bouncing on them. So you'll try and jump across, except that this guy won't move, and you'll actually just be stuck and not be able to get through. But the problem here, the reason I say this troll is bad now is because it is actually possible to get across this thing and actually go across the dry bones. Like not only does it look possible, which is a problem in and of itself, it actually is possible to go under the dry bones. I believe if I was to do that, it would be impossible, but it's possible. I believe the YouTuber was Eric Van Wilderman who actually did it. He didn't continue doing it, he eventually figured out the right strat, which is good, but it is possible to do that, and that's a big problem because it's way more difficult to go that way, and you don't want the and since it's intended as a troll, you don't want the player continuing to try and do it, or even continuing to actually manage to do it when it's just wrong. And then there's this fire flower up here. And so the actual strat is to just jump up here by the fire flower, not go into it. It says right, and then you can use that as a platform to get over the top. And you may have not noticed, right here, not there, here, here, there's a fire flower right there, and this fire flower was actually meant to be a hint. It was supposed to be, you jump here and you see this fire flower and it's a hint to go up by this fire flower, but that hint didn't get across at all. It did nothing. Like no one even saw the fire flower down there, and that it was completely useless because no one looked over there, or even if they did see it, they didn't connect the dots and think, oh yeah, I see fire flower, that means do this, because I mean that's not obvious. Oh, and I actually did change this to make it impossible, yeah. So do that. So that's a troll. I still like the troll though. I still like it because the way this came about with bouncing on the dry bones is that I would have this troll here, and now I was like, hey, I should test if you can actually, I should test if you could do it in the case where it didn't blow up and was actually there. And then I forgot that dry bones don't move when you jump on them. So then immediately after, I made a troll where it looks like you need to ride a dry bones, but it doesn't move when you jump on it. And this troll here also acts as a little bit of like conditioning to make you think you can ride the dry bones. And this one just exploded and you actually ride the dry bones here, but you still don't. Okay, so then the part with the wigglers. So you get here, 1, 2, die because you're bad, like me. Okay, that's not the troll. The troll is 1, 2, spring in here. That's not what happened in these cases. This second or third wiggler here has obviously visible piranha plant over it. It's supposed to be obviously visible. The point is that you see the piranha plant and think you dodged the troll by jumping over it. But a lot of people just ended up jumping directly onto the piranha plant anyway, and then still getting trolled by the spring, which I think is overall a pretty good result. So you jump on there, and the thing with this spring is that if you're just holding jump, you do short hops because it's a spring, and with bouncing off enemies you can just hold jump, but with springs you can't, and if the spring is on a wiggler like this, it still does the short jump. So you get here, and oh, and I didn't even mention the dog, of course, dog costume low, and that spring is set up to drop you right into this pit if you're just holding right. So then you get here, and you see a blue platform, and you jump across, you get a coin, and it doesn't troll you. And there's a couple of things here. So there's an arrow pointing down below the platform, which is interesting. There's this single spike that you can see. And basically the point here is that when a player is going to jump down a pit, it would usually be safer to ride a platform like this, because then you can jump off of it and get an extra jump if you were riding a fallen platform instead of just falling. So your instinct is always going to be to ride the platform down. This spike is also here because in the aesthetics of the previous sections, it always had like the spikes like that. So it looks like that it makes you think that down this pit is going to be more spikes, but actually it's none of that. And the only thing that's here is a track that will troll you, that will block the path if you drop the platform, and a block to kill yourself with. And the only reason I came up with this troll was just to get you from up there to down here. That's something that you might have already noticed about my levels, is that I have a lot of continuous sections without like doors or pipes. Like the pipe you come out of is here, and then you go through all of these trolls and all of this stuff, and then the next door is this one. So it's like a really long continuous section, and it with trolls to get you in the right position for the next troll, which is this one, which requires you to be at the bottom of the screen. Well, it doesn't really require you to be at the bottom of the screen, but I wanted you to be at the bottom of the screen for a reason. So you come here, and and you need a key, obviously. It's not the red coin key. I think that's kind of obvious, and you would probably have noticed by now this isn't the red coin level, and this isn't the red coin key that you need. And then you see block here, arrows, and a muncher on top. So if this was a P-switch, it would obviously kill you. And then you see this. And this is fun. So yeah, P-switch goes up, hits that, and it makes an amazing sound, and it's great. And this section I'll just tell you how I came up with this. So it's like, oh, thing coming up, winged item out of block, gets hit by note blocks, gets hit by a whole tower of note blocks. That's fun. Let's do that. Make it a troll. So it's a reverse psychology. And then other interesting property of it, or thing to notice, is that this, you can see the muncher on top that would trigger the P-switch. With these ones, since it's all the way at the top of the screen where the muncher actually is, you can't see it. So if you didn't know about that winged item mechanic, you would think this block has the potential to kill you, this doesn't have the potential to kill you. Obviously you try this one first. And don't trust the arrows. But if you just trust the arrows, you're good. Right, next room, we got a boo. Got a boo with a bomb and a thing. And what this is meant to look like, I should fucking not get out of that screen because the music is going on in this room. This is, I think, the first time I've had the music in a section that wasn't just a death room. Oh, well, no, the first one's a boss fight, but it was the wrong way to go, so it was kind of still that. So the boo is actually stacked on a mole, which means that it can't actually move, because this looks like a don't look left, but you actually can look left, and nothing bad will happen to you. And the idea is that you're supposed to look left in this room. You're supposed to face left so this boo doesn't move and block the path, and you can get through. But it is actually possible to beat this room while still looking right. That's another kind of a problem here. Similar to the other section, it is possible to get through this while always looking right. I don't know if it's that hard. I haven't done it myself, but you can. And there's also just a dumb P-switch so that you can kill yourself, which is required because this boo will get stuck here and you can't get through. And also, a thing here is that you can see the checkpoint from here, and I always think that it's kind of a thing where if you have a really good troll, it can be great to have it so you can see the checkpoint when that troll is going to happen, so that it specifically denies you from getting the checkpoint. Because that just makes it makes it that much more impactful. Then we have another red point, and then this room. So this is CP1. It's the best CP1, obviously. Little detail, I don't know if anyone's noticed this yet. When you come through the first time, you come through this section right here, and you go into this pipe, and this pipe leads you out this pipe exit and onto this checkpoint. And then you will notice that if you move over here, this pipe is a little in the little aesthetics. Looks like it's kind of supposed to be connected to the other pipe and lead down the same path. And if you go in this pipe, it comes out the same pipe exit and puts you on the checkpoint. So that's just a little detail I put in there. Just worked out that way that they were next to each other like that. Right, so you come here, and it says CP1. I wrote CP1 so that you wouldn't go down there thinking it's right. Because what I needed was a thing where you go in a pipe and you come back out the same pipe and end up in a bad place with another pipe. But I didn't want you to ever think that it could be correct, so I wrote CP1 and put an arrow. So, and it's not lying, that's actually what it is. And then you go here. There's a donut to get you in here. And I'll just show. As you come out of that pipe, it looks like you're supposed to hold left, but a cannon spawns, and you go back in the pipe. Well, the cannon doesn't actually spawn. This works by the same cannon teleportation glitch that I've used in like almost all of my levels, where it teleports on top of the enemy. It also gets killed so that to let you go down here and die. But the important thing is that this is a pipe, and the difference between pipes and doors that's important for trolling is that as you're coming out of a door, you just come out of the door and then it loads pretty much immediately. But with a pipe, it shows the screen, then there's about a second as it shows like a animation of Mario coming out of the pipe that nothing is loaded or like nothing moves. And then once Mario is out of the pipe, stuff can actually happen and you can get trolled because it's not what you would think. So you come out of this pipe, and then only after the animation is done does this cannon actually teleport up, which makes it look like it appears out of nowhere and, well, blocks you. And also it can go through the ground, which is also important. Get back in that pipe, Mario. Also, I have another troll here. From this checkpoint, if you hold right and run, and you just jump, there's these two falling blocks, which there may be two, but it's really just one. If you go max speed, you'll hit those blocks and fall into the checkpoint one. And that troll, that's probably the most memorable troll from this level. I don't know if it's like, I often thought it was probably going to be too evil, and it may still have been too evil, but yeah, CPU won people like 5 or 6 times, and it's hilarious to everyone, but yeah. Fallen Kaizo block pit. And it punishes you for going fast, which is, I think sometimes can be a bad thing, but I think it's funny here because it's super easy to avoid and apparently super hard to remember. And yeah, I got the idea from a much older level that Carl played, which had a bunch of falling blocks that would all punish you for going max speed. So I just put in a couple that CPU won you for going max speed. So the actual strat is to jump over and go like that. And get that coin. And then we have this. So what this is it's basically a bait of, well, kind of, it's a little bit reverse psychology-like thing, because this is supposed to kind of look like the troll. We have a one-way back there that hits the shell back at you, or something similar to that. But you kick the shell, and then that's... What is this? Okay, yeah, that's... It might be just because I have invincibility frames, not sure. I do not know what... Okay, so the idea here is that you'll kick the shell. You try to kick the shell and it hits a POW. And I think this is the first level to have that thing where a shell over a POW will just hit it immediately and destroy itself. And that POW drops both this Buzzy Beetle and triggers this P-switch. And the only reason the P-switch exists is so that this Muncher will fly up and hit you in the ass. The Muncher will fly up and hit you. The Muncher usually... Most times I've seen the Muncher didn't actually hit the player, but it still... And this Beetle here ended up hitting them. So it would end up more like... Let's see if I can... That kind of thing would happen. So you hit that guy. That is the only reason the P-switch, because my thought process was, you'll hit this and it will die, and that's a funny troll. And then I need this guy to actually break you out. But this guy isn't gonna like hit you in the face and kill you, so I need another troll here. I need something to kill you faster, because it'll be funnier and better if you die faster to it. That's why the P-switch gets triggered and launches these cannons at you going up. But the Beetle was what hit more people, so I guess it kind of worked out in the end. So you get through here, and you get to this section. This is a troll that, okay, didn't, I'll go from here. A troll that didn't work on, it didn't work on Carl, it worked on some other people. So if you look, from standing right here, you can see that cannon is obviously extending through the ground, and it looks like it's on the track. You can see the track at the bottom down here. There's a track that it looks like this cannon is on. And if you jump on the cannon, it will magically disappear and die. Because it's not on the track, it's actually this same trick again, and that when you go forward, that shell will kill the enemy, causing it to teleport down and disappear out from under you. And then I have this bomb here. The bomb doesn't do anything at all. It's basically just there to make you not trust the last launcher. But I don't know why I actually... But it didn't actually work. I think that bomb... Thinking about it more, that bomb probably more would bait you into going fast than going slow. And since going slow is what gets you killed, that doesn't really make sense. But it's supposed to look like the one is on the track and therefore completely stable, because if it actually is on a track, nothing can ever... It can never go away or be destroyed or anything. But this one is on a platform with a bomb and stuff, so it could be destroyed and go away. Then we have the next section. There's a swamp here, and then another swamp here with a shiny box, and this swamp doesn't go back up. It just doesn't. And that's because swamps that spawn lower and are pushed up won't go back up after they fall. They'll just stay at that lower position. So if we do that, and you see this is so many uses for this one trick. That thing teleports up and pushes the swamp up to its position there. And actually, the thing about this is once the swamp is down, you can actually go back to this cannon and despawn it. So let's just make a slight improvement to this now. Now I would design it like that. And this is way better because, well, it's de-cheesing, but de-cheesing the despawn cheese, but also it's a good troll to make, just to get the point across. It's not just de-cheese. I knew you would do that. Get wrecked. And then we have this. So here, you jump on this, it has a thing behind it, and it just goes away. And then Kaizo blocks and you're dead. Great. So the actual strat is just boing across. That arrow is... The point of that arrow, if you're wondering, is just to be like, hey, get the boot, and the arrow is just like, hey, jump on the spike. Because if you could get the boot, you would be able to stand on the spikes, obviously. Right, so now you get the this. And this is the stack flipping glitch. I'll just say right now. You can, because this muncher is apparently stacked on the cannons by magic, or stacked on something, even though it's actually the bottom of a stack, so I have no idea how it works. But it thinks it's stacked on something, which means that you can't hit it up with the helmet, because a muncher that's stacked can't be hit up by a helmet. And then, so you actually don't want to put the helmet on, you just want to kick it. Because it goes down, hits a POW, one of these POWs, and then that kills this muncher, causing it to teleport down here and get out of the way. Something that happened is that since stack flipping is a bit janky, when Carl played this specifically, he got the helmet, went back over here, and then went forward, and it actually caused it to like teleport down and let it through. So he thought that was right, and then went on trying it a few times. That's a bit of a thing. Yeah, the right strat is just to kick the helmet down. This has a ding-dong correct sound effect. I think if I was designing this now, I might make that a wrong sound instead, but it wouldn't be that huge of a difference. So then we get to this. In here, note blocks are not trustworthy to anyone. Like, it's baiting. What this is doing is making you think that it's like, oh, bounce from one thing to the next, and one of them is going to be fake. The last one's going to be fake. And the last one looks extra fake because it has arrows and saws and springs and stuff. And you can easily make the jump to just be over here. But then if you were just over here, you couldn't get through. You can just barely see that POW. No one's gonna probably see that POW, but you can see it. So the actual solution is to trust the level and hit this. Which I'm a little surprised that how many, because anyone that actually jumped straight over here did figure out that this was the right strat, just because it gives you nothing else to do. And we get here. So there's a door, 4 arrows on the door, makes you not trust the door. So you see the extra path down at the bottom here. This path. That path is, well, it is clearly visible to anyone looking at the screen at all. It's not supposed to be. The idea was that this path was supposed to be more difficult to see than it was. It's actually super easy to see, but the intention was that it would be a lot harder to see. Because if it was harder to see, it would be more of like a I don't trust your door, I'm going over here, because I see this hidden thing, but it's not really hidden, so it's kind of just pink. And then it just says no, and it's bad, and it's wrong, and there's actually Kaizo block there with a mole, which does nothing since you're already dead if you're down here at all. Right. So, you go in this door. And then here's the ending. This is probably the most interesting part of this level, and it was mostly unintentional most of the time. So in the very first version of this level, I had it set up so that the goal, so that it basically went in the order of door you come out, then the coin, then the goal hidden, and then the key door. So to try and go to the key door would get you in the goal automatically. But then after that, I did a revision and changed it so that the goal is, so that it's actually door right next to the key door, right next to the coin, and the goal is over there behind the coin. That's the only way to win. And then there's this key door. And basically, if you notice throughout the level, there's a bunch of red coins, and they're all really easy to get. So by the end, you would have, so you would go in the first section, you would go in this room, through that path, let's not, and then you go through there, go in the first room, get the coin because you think it's a coin room, and then you get the first checkpoint and save it. And then you go through the main portions of the level and collect the really easy to get coins everywhere, like this one and the other ones, and then you would have all but 2 coins. The 2 coins you would not have are this one at the end, obviously, and then this safety coin at the beginning. I'm just saying, not necessarily you would have that, but at least when Carl played it, and it was probably the best way this worked out for anyone, you don't have this coin, but from down here, you'll see this coin, but you'll see the top one. You can see the safety coin from there, and you'll have every coin except for that safety coin. Then Carl was like, oh, I had to get the safety coin because there's a key door here, and it looks like you need it. And it's extra good because in the very beginning of the level, you would think that you might think this is actually a coin hub room, and then when you go, so you wouldn't get the safety coin because you think it's a hub room, but then you would get the first coin, do the section, get the checkpoint, and then go through the level that's actually linear, and then you still wouldn't have that first coin from the fake hub, and then you'd get here and you'd realize you needed it. So then Carl started over, got this, went all the way through, and then, well, if you were to go in the door, it leads to this door, which is nothing, but it's blocked, and it just drops you in the pit. And then you can figure out that the goal is right there. So that's pretty much the level. That's still probably my most popular level for some reason, and has some some good stuff, some of the best stuff, some pretty major mistakes and flaws in it, like most of the levels, but still good.